basic eye examination. Okay. Wait. Oh. So before we start the lecture, let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. We direct, O God, we beseech you all our actions by your holy inspiration, and help us on by your gracious assistance, so that every prayer and work of ours may begin with you and by be happily ended in. Okay, so the lecture or okay, this lecture has the following general objective. So at the end of the topic, you should be able to discuss the importance of performing the basic eye examination. Basic eye examination. So there are 5 parts of the basic eye examination. We have the gross external examination of the eye, the visual acuity testing, ocular motility, determination of intraocular pressure, and direct ophthalmoscopy. And also, we have to know how to perform the basic eye examinations. Okay. Again, these are the 5 parts of your basic eye exam. Okay. Okay, so visual acuity testing. This is the fundamental or the basic element or the fundamental element of your basic eye examination. So this should be done to any prior to any manipulation of the eye. So this assesses the function of your fovea centralis or macula. Okay, so we have when doing the basic eye examination, we usually do the distance visual acuity testing and the near visual acuity testing. So for the distance visual acuity, these are done for all patients, including children, while the near visual acuity testing, so this is not a routine test, however, you perform or you do this to patients over 35 years of age, or in cases that the distance visual acuity is difficult to perform. Okay. So why do you think patients over 35 years old, we do near visual acuity? What is the condition na meron sa patients or ano yung nangyari sa patients over 35 years of age? Bakit natin chine-check yung near visual acuity nila? Do you have any idea? Okay. Do you know what condition is that?
Doc, presbyopia po.
Ayan, tama. So, as early as 35 or those over, as early as mga 35 or, yan, yung iba early presbyopia, yung mga as early as 35, nagkakaroon na ng presbyopia. So, kailangan for those patients, yan, we do the near visual acuity testing. Okay. Okay. So, so how do we test the vision? So, or the distance vision. So visual acuity can be measured using the Snellen chart. So this is a very common chart that you can see in the clinics. Or you can use the tumbling E chart or the illiterate E chart and the picture chart. So for the tumbling E and picture chart, we use this for those who cannot read. So, or sa mga bata, you will ask the patient to point the direction of the letter E. So dito sa tumbling E chart. Then dito sa picture chart, meron corresponding chart na hawak ng patient. Then you will ask the patient to match the object or kung ano yung picture na pinapakita niya. So in that way, you can assess the visual acuity of the patient. Okay, another variation is the Landon broken ring. Same principle lang siya. Same lang kung paano yung direction. Same lang siya sa illiterate E or the tumbling E chart. So you will also ask the patient to locate the break or you ask the patient to point where's the direction of the break that's a ring. So yan, kung yun na baba or sa left or right, ganyan. Okay, so here, this is another chart that we see in the clinic. So kung makakadaan, well, kung meron na tayo sana face-to-face, you can drop by sa OPD and meron kami ganitong chart. So this is your, what you call the Bailey-Lowy chart. So ang difference nito with the Snellen chart, diba, nakikita nito, this chart has equal numbers of letters per row as compare to your Snellen chart, diba, iba-iba yung numbers niya sa row. So, yan, parami ng parami. E dito, pare-pareho siyang 5. Okay. So, how do you how do you get your distance visual acuity? So, remember, so the standard distance of a patient from the distance visual acuity chart is 6 meters or 20 feet. So, please don't forget that. It's 6 meters or 20 feet. Okay. So, how do you measure your visual acuity? So you instruct the patient or you position your patient 20 feet or 6 meters from a well-illuminated chart. Then you instruct them to occlude one eye at a time using an opaque occluder or pwede yung kamay ng patient. So tatakip na ganyan. Okay? So the patient will read the chart starting at the biggest line or the first line until the smallest line that he or she can distinguish more than half of the figure. So the patient can distinguish that at more than half of the figures, then record the visual acuity. Later, we will try to turuan ko kayo kung paano mag-record ng visual acuity. Then, instruct the patient to occlude the other eye and repeat the steps 3 and 4. Okay. So, Snellen letters are constructed such that they subtend to an angle of arc or subtend an angle of 5 minutes of arc when located at a distance specified by denominator. So the visual acuity is tested with the Snellen chart again located at 20 feet from the patient because by mathematical computation, so which is well beyond the scope of this discussion already, is that 20 feet distance parallel rays of light will be focused at the retina. Okay, so each eye is measured without lenses and with most recently prescribed lenses. So when we do the distance visual acuity, always ask the patient or if they are wearing eyeglasses. So kasi kailangan you also have to check whether yung eyeglasses niya is okay pa sa kanya or hindi na. So every time that we do the visual acuity testing, kailangan pati with the glasses, suot nila. Okay? Suot and syempre check muna without the glasses and check with the glasses. Okay, so the top letter, so the distance of visual acuity, the top letter is the distance or the numerator. Okay, this refers to the distance of the patient from the chart. So that's 20 feet or depende if ang gamit nila is metric system. So 6 meters yan. Then at the denominator is the distance at which a normal eye can read the given line. So for example, the visual acuity of your patient is 20 over 60. So meaning, also this means that the patient can see at 20 feet what a person with a normal visual acuity can see at 60 feet. Okay, yeah. So alternative notation using the English system. So ito yung common English system ginagamit. Then we also have the metric system. The decimal and logmar system is used for research purposes. Okay, so this graph only shows you the relationship between the error of refraction in diopters. So yeah, refractive error in diopters and the visual acuity. So as you can see, the higher the grade in diopters of error of refraction or the refractive error, the lesser the uncorrected visual acuity. So kita niyo naman, higher diopters. So 4 diopters ng refractive error nila, mas poorer in visual acuity, mas pangit. So if the patient is unable to see the largest letter in the Snellen, so that's the 2200 line, we use the following method. So first, you have the bring the patient closer to the chart until he or she is able to read the 2200 line. So, ang gagawin is papalapitin unti-unti yung at 5 feet increments yung patient papunta sa chart, or pwedeng yung chart yung ilalapit sa patient. So, ganyan, at 15 feet, lalapit ng patient, then you will ask the patient if she can read the 2200 or the biggest letters sa Snellen chart. Palapit ng palapit. So, if the patient is unable to read the 2200 line at 3 feet, then the next step you will do is do counting fingers. So, how will you do that? So, ganun ulit. Counting fingers, you have to occlude one eye, okay? Then ask the patient if she can read, if she can count her fingers. So, kunyari, tatakpan niyo. So, ilan po yung daling nakikita niyo? 1, pwede 2, di ba? You can ask the patient to count your fingers at 1 feet or hanggang 3 feet. Then, record the visual acuity. So, kunyari, at 3 feet, nakita ng patient. So, ang i-record nyo, count or CF or counting fingers at 3 feet. Yun yung pag-record ng visual acuity. Okay? If the patient is unable to count the fingers, okay, so determine if the patient can distinguish the presence or absence of the hand movement. So, hand movement, ganun ulit, one eye at a time. Tatanong niyo, may gumagalaw po ba? Meron po ba? Wala. Ganun. Pag sinabi ng patient, wala. Or pag sinabi ng patient, meron pong gumagalaw, nakikita ko po yung gumagalaw ng kamay ninyo. So, you will record it as HM or hand movement. If the patient cannot detect hand movement, you can use a pen light to determine if the patient can correctly detect the direction of the light source. So, again, cover one eye, then with your pen light, you can ask the patient, or you evaluate whether the patient can detect the light source in your 4 quadrants. So up, down, left, and right. Okay. Good light projection if the patient, if 4 quadrants yung nakita niya, fair, 2 to 3 quadrants, poor if 1 quadrant lang. And last, if the patient is unable to correctly identify the direction of the light source, however, if the patient is unable to correctly identify the direction of the light source but able to detect the presence of the light, okay, record the visual acuity as light perception. Okay? So, important dito when you check for the light perception, kailangan madilim yung room. So, kailangan dark room. Then, you have to talagang itutok nyo yung light. Well, hindi naman talagang malapit. Basta yung light source makita na, enough para makita ng patient. So, tatanungin nyo kung may nakikita po bang ilaw. Meron po bang nakikitang ilaw? Pag sinabi ng patient, wala po. So, you record the visual acuity as no light perception. Do not label the patient as blind. So, hanggang NLP yung labeling natin doon. Okay? Yan, example. So, kunyari, EFP, TOZ, LPEP, PECFD, EVFCZP, FELOPZD, then the rest of the line. Kaya sinabi ng patient dito, OORN, ORN. Yan yung sabi na. So what's the visual acuity of your patient? You can answer, okay? Ano visual acuity? Best. Yung pinaka-best na visual acuity. So, again, EFP, TOZ, LPED, PECFD, EVFCZP, FELOPZP, then the line 8, puro mali na. Anong visual acuity na i-record nyo?
2025 po.
Yan. Very good. 2025. Okay, again. EFP, TOZ, LPED, PECFD, EDF, RZP, FELOPZD, DEFROPEC. So what's the visual acuity of the patient? So, sa line 8, diba, D, E, F, R, O, T, E, C. So, what's the visual acuity? How do you record that? Diba dito sa 2020 line, may mali siyang isa. So, you can record it as 2020 minus 1. Okay? So, if, example, ang visual acuity ng patient natin, kunyari hanggang dito, nabasa niya, ED, EDF, ED, tapos the rest of the letters mali na niya. Ang pag-record ng visual acuities or the best visual acuity of the patient is 20, huwag niyo i-record 20, 30 minus 4. Huwag ganon. Ang pag-record niyan is 20, 40 plus 2. So, in-add nyo na lang yung 2 letters na nakita niya sa line 6 dun sa line 5. That's the best visual acuity. Di ba kasi ang rule, more than half of the letters dapat ang ma-identify ng patient per line. So, ang i-record nyo is yung pinaka-best. So, di ba dito, sabi ko kanina, itong dalawang letters lang yung tama niya. So, instead of recording it as 2030 minus 4, then record it as 2040 plus 2. Gets? Naintindihan naman?
Dok, pag tatlo lang po.
Pag tatlo, pwedeng minus 3 pa din.
Thank you po.
So, pag sinabi ng patient, doktora or doctor, hindi ko po makita yung letter E, what's the next step that you will do?
Palapitin po for 5.
Okay. So, papalapitin natin. So, kunyari, at 15 feet, nakita ng patient yung big letter E. Ay, nakita ko na po. E, gumanon siya. So, paano niyo i-record yung visual acuity?
15
over 200. Okay, tama. So, ang goal natin, every time na pinapalapit natin yung patient sa chart, is just to see the big letter E. If the patient can read the letters or yung other line, pag pinapalapit nyo, baka naman, ang visual acuity talaga ng patient is better pa at 20 feet. So, baka naman, kunyari na sinabi niya, 15 feet, nabasa niya yung FPPOZ, gano'n. So, balik nyo ulit sa 20 feet. So, check nyo ulit. Kasi minsan may mga ibang patient medyo tamad magbasa or naantok. Yan. So, ibalik nyo ulit at 20 feet, then re-evaluate the visual acuity. So, yun. Ganun lang naman. So, nakuha. Okay, clear naman. Okay. So, this table summarizes the visual acuity with the expected function. Just read on this, nice to know. Okay. No light perception, the patient cannot see light. Less than 200 in visual acuity, usually it's hand movement. The patient can recognize form motion at 1 meter. Yan. Visual acuity of less than 10-200, it's travel vision. The patient cannot read headlines. Less than 20-200, minimal reading. So the patient can read headlines but not 14 point. Let's just read on this. Nice to know. Okay. Next is you have to perform. Well, once you're done with the distance visual acuity testing, then perform the pinhole test. So if the patient is or the patient's visual acuity is less than 20/20 in either eye, so you have to perform the pinhole test to determine if the vision is due to an uncorrected refractive error. So we have these kinds of occluder in the OPD or sa eye center. Yeah, yeah. So the principle of this test is pag dito kasi when light passes through a small hole or yun nga, yung small pinhole or the pupil, all unfocused light rays are blocked and leaving only the focused light to land on the retina to form a very clear image. So usually kasi pag pinhole, tinatanggal niya yung mga peripheral light rays, so only the central light rays enter your eye. So mas focus sa retina and mas clear image yung makikita. So, try nyo, magbutas kayo sa paper, then butasan nyo ng ballpen or Oh yeah, sa ballpen, then if you look through the hole, lalo na sa mga nag-wear ng eyeglasses, makikita nyo mag-i-improve yung vision. However, if hindi nag-improve yung vision with the pinhole test, so it means that hindi lang uncorrected refractive error yung problem. So baka may iba pang pathologies na kailangan tingnan. So this will give you an idea if the vision of the patient is due to error of refraction or not. Okay, so after doing the distance visual acuity testing, then we move on to your near visual acuity testing. So these are the examples of your near visual acuity chart. So they usually contain numbers of letters or figures of varying sizes corresponding to a particular point size or Jaeger notation. Okay, yeah. If the patient wears reading glasses, you also have to ask the patient to wear the reading glasses when you do your near visual acuity testing. Okay, if you don't have a near visual acuity chart, you can use newspaper or any printed material instead. So as you can see here naman. Okay. The near vision charts again contain numbers, letters, or figures in different sizes designed to subtend an angle of 5 minutes at various distances as your Jaeger notation. Then remember that the standard test distance for your near vision is 14 inches or 35 cm. Pag sa distance vision naman, the standard test distance is 20 feet or 6 meters. So huwag niyo pagbalik-talin yun. Then record the size and distance of the smallest finger sleeve. Yes. Okay. Okay. These are the abbreviations that we use to record the visual acuity. Please study them. So we move on to the second part of the eye examination. So we move on to the gross examination of the eye. So while doing the gross examination of the eye, it is important to perform a systemic gross exam of the eye to evaluate all the structures. So you have to proceed from the external part of the eye towards the more internal eye structures. Ayan, you have to check the position of the eyes in relation to the other facial structures. So you have encountered this when you're in your physical diagnosis, di ba, yung mga dekakon na sinasulat. So you have to check the symmetry between the two eyes. Okay? Check the presence. Check or take note of if there's redness, masses, or abnormal pigmentations present on the eyelids or periocular region or tissue. Diba? Check also the eyelashes. So it should be directed outward, or pag the eyelashes are turned inward, so you have to report that also. Okay. Okay, then when doing the external eye examination, syempre, it's very important that we have a good illumination. Okay. Again, note any abnormality in the size and shape of the head. Okay, examine the skin on the face, the eyelids. Yan, check lahat yan. Okay. Okay. Yan. So also you have to inspect the lids, the palpebral fissure, and the surrounding tissues. So while inspecting the lids, so you have to invert the eyelids. So how do you invert the upper eyelid? Okay. This is you have to examine the upper tarsal conjunctiva by eversion of the upper eyelid. So instruct the patient to look down. Yan, makikita niyo naman. Then grasp the lashes of the upper eyelid between the thumb and your index finger. And you can place a cotton tip applicator at the palpebral sulcus para ma-invert yung eyelid. Okay? Yan. Check for any foreign bodies or any lesions. Yan. Yan. Also check or retract the lower eyelid para makita rin kung may may inflammation. Yan. Basta check lahat yan when you do your external eye examination. Okay. So yan, read eversion is very important. So this will facilitate in identification of foreign bodies that are lodged in your eye. So this is a patient that came in at the emergency room complaining of foreign body sensation. So pag hindi nyo ginawa yung eversion, hindi nyo makikita may nakalodge na foreign body dito. Okay? So also the clarity of the cornea is inspected. So check also if there is opacities, okay, or any abnormalities that you can see in the cornea. So normally, it should be clear, okay? Then no lesions. Ayun. In a clear cornea, you can also observe the details in your iris. So take note of any abnormalities. Meron din ulit kayo nakikitang mass or mga abnormal vessels na nakikita. Okay. Observe the crypts of your iris. Okay. Another important component of your eye examination is your pupillary examination. So there are three components in your pupillary examination. So you assess the pupil and pupil size and shape. Okay. Assess the pupil reaction to light. So you have the direct and consensual light reaction. Then assess the reaction of the pupil to a swinging flashlight test. So always when doing your or while checking the pupillary reaction, kailangan nasa dark room so that you can really observe the reaction of your pupils. Okay, so the normal size of the pupil is around 2 to 4 millimeters. Then asymmetry of both pupils by more than 2 millimeters is considered abnormal. Okay, so to check if there is a presence of your afferent pupillary defect, so you do your swinging flashlight test. So normally, di ba, the response of your pupil when you shine a light, it should constrict, okay? But when there are optic nerve injuries or there are optic nerve injuries or there is a trauma that causes problem in your optic nerve, we can expect the presence of your afferent pupillary defect. So instead of constricting, ang nangyayari is nagdadilate yung in RAPD. Okay? Example of optic nerve injury. So as you can see here in the CT scan, enlarge lahat yung extraocular mass, crowding the optic nerve at the level of the apex, nagkakaroon ng afferent pupillary defect, yung right eye. Okay, examination of the examination of the eye movement begins by examining the ocular alignment in the primary position. So, first, you note if pantay ba yung eyes ng patient. Yeah. So, we do the Hirschberg test by instructing the patient to look straight and fixate at the distance object while you shine a light towards the both eyes. So you can use your pen light or you can also use your ophthalmoscope. Okay. Then you can see there is a corneal light reflex. So So if the eye is aligned perfectly or it is normally aligned, yung reflex will fall in the center of the cornea. So kung may problem sa alignment, magdi-deviate yung corneal light reflex. Examples ng ganyan. So, in esotropia, there is inward misalignment of the eye. So, the corneal light reflex is deviated laterally or temporally. Yan, as you see here, na-displace na yung corneal light reflex. Exotropia naman, or nagbabanlag yung patient. So, the corneal light reflex is displaced medially. Yan. Hypotropia, so mababa yung mata. So the corneal light reflex is displaced superiorly, while hypertropia, so nakataas yung eyeball, di ba? So the corneal light reflex is displaced inferiorly. Okay? Usually, ang may problem is this, yung nag-deviate na mata. Okay? Okay. Oh. So your ocular motility testing is able to detect any difference in how the eyes are aligned at different positions of the gaze, and it is also an essential part of your eye examination. Usually, the examiner will ask you to sit in front, di ba? Nakaharap sa inyo. Then, while the doctor asks you to fixate on an object, pwedeng yung finger, pwedeng pen light, or pwedeng fixation target, then the examiner will ask you to follow your target, pwedeng yun, H pattern, or pwedeng up, down, side to side, okay? Just to check the ocular motility. So you can check the versions or eye movement is tested with both eyes open or ductions, one eye at a time is tested. Intraocular pressure, okay, another part of your basic eye exam. So this refers to the pressure that is created within the closed environment of the eye. So this reflects the balance between the humor production and drainage. So the values of your intraocular pressure vary from individual to individual and exhibits normal fluctuations during the day. So remember, the normal intraocular pressure is around 10 to 21 millimeters mercury. We have different methods on how we assess the intraocular pressure. So first, we do finger palpation. So this is just to give you a rough estimate of your intraocular pressure. So the harder the globe, the higher the intraocular pressure. This is actually unreliable, pero in areas that don't have, sa mga sa province, sa mga walang gamit, okay, we can do this finger palpation just to give you an idea whether the intraocular pressure of the patient is high or low. Okay, doing contraindications in doing this is that if there is ocular trauma or pwedeng may globe rupture, so never do intraocular testing. Okay, so how do we do this? So you instruct the patient to close his eye or her eye, then use your index finger to palpate or to feel if the globe is hard, soft, firm. So pag soft, probably the intraocular pressure is low. Pag stone hard, yan, mataas yung IOP. Okay? Next is your indentation tonometry. So this is your Schiot's tonometer. So this provides a quantitative determination of your intraocular pressure. So here, your indentation tonometry measures the depth of your corneal indentation made by a small plunger carrying weights. So dito meron weights yan. Then the higher the intraocular pressure, the harder it is to push or indent the cornea. Ang ginagawa dito, yung first, we instill anesthetics. Yan. Kasi nakita nyo, dinidikit talaga yan sa cornea, diba? So, you have to anesthetize the eye. Then, you will apply, or we will apply the weights that is included with the instrument. Okay? So, yan. Kailangan naka-anesthetize yung mata. So, have the patient look straight. So, when we do this, we ask the patient to look directly sa ceiling. Then, we will apply the flat round bottom of the instrument or the tonometer to the middle of the cornea. Okay? Then, merong corresponding reading kasi yan once we try to indent the cornea. Ito yun. Dito yung nakikita yung reading. A conversion table for that. Anyway, nice to know. Third is your applanation tonometry. Your Goldman applanation tonometer is considered to be the gold standard in IOP determination. And this is the most widely accepted method. So you can see here, there is a prism, okay? A special disinfected prism is mounted on the tonometer head, okay, and then placed against the cornea. So again, we anesthetize the patient. We put topical anesthetic. Again, then the examiner will use a cobalt-free filter, a cobalt blue filter to view the two green semicircles. Ito yung view, ito yung makikita ng examiner. We do the applanation tonometer. Okay, then IOP measurements are based on the amount of pressure required to flatten a standard diameter or area of the cornea. Ang disadvantage of this is that you require a specialized equipment, so kailangan nakamount siya sa slit lamp. So ito yung setup na yan. So we have the slit lamp. This is the applanation tonometer. Okay. Move on to the posterior segment examination. There are three ways of viewing your ocular fundus. So we have direct ophthalmoscopy, indirect ophthalmoscopy, and biomicroscopy or lens. So direct ophthalmoscopy lang naman yung kailangan ng mga tutunan sa letter ninyo. Okay? Yeah. So this is indirect ophthalmoscopy. So this allows you to look into the back of the eye to look the health of the retina, optic nerve, the vessels, and the vitreous humor. So, yan. Ito yung usually na makikita nyo sa loob using your direct ophthalmoscope. So, it also gives you a direct image or an upright image with approximately 15 times magnification. Yan. So, yan. Indications. So, it can give you a high-power study of the macula, measures depressions and elevation. Okay. Can measure also the diopteric power of the eye and study of small lesions. The advantages again. So it gives you a high magnification around 15 times, gives you a direct image, okay? Then it's very easy to learn. However, it has small field of view. Yan, limited lang yung view ninyo. Okay? Poor illumination, uses one eye only, and there are already distortion when you look at the periphery. Okay. So please take note of the advantages and disadvantages. Okay? So just a review. Siguro meron kayong ganito, di ba? So, ito yung mga parts. So we have the viewing window, filter switch, aperture dial, the rheostat, the switch, diopteric power display. So here, dito nyo nakikita yung nagtataka kayo kung ano yun. These are the diopteric power display, di ba? Dalawang color, you have the green and the red. So the green, more of mga plus lenses yon. Then the red is the minus lenses. This is your viewing window and your brow rest. So dapat nakadikit siya. Okay? Another variations. So ito yung ginagamit namin. Pero siguro sa inyo ito yung ginagamit nyo. Na ganito ba yung ginagamit nyo sa PB? Yung iba kasi may mas maliliit silang ginagamit, pediatric yun eh. Pero we usually use this sa physical diagnosis. Ganito yung ginagamit namin. Yan. So yan. Another type of the ophthalmoscope. So this is what I have. Yan. Yan. So, yan. Pareho lang naman. May viewing window, lens wheel. Ito yun. Wala po. Yan. Yan. So, light adjustment color. This is the light adjustment. Okay. Yan. So, kung nagtataka kayo, may large, medium, and small light, or this is the light setting if you're the direct ophthalmoscope. So there is a large, medium, or small light aperture. So the large aperture is usually used when we dilate the pupil. So after administering the viatic drops. Kita niyo ba? No. Anyway, basta pag ginalaw niyo yung ophthalmoscope niyo, may large aperture like this. Yan. Medium, merong small. Okay? The medium aperture is the standard for a non-dilated pupil in the dark room, and the small aperture is for a constricted pupil in a well-lit room. So, kung hindi talaga natin madim yung room, so we use the smallest aperture of the light. Yan. So, para mas makita natin. Okay? Then, meron din the green light. So, kung napapansin nyo, your ophthalmoscope has green light. This is the red-free filter. So, we used to look closely at the vasculature. Okay? You check for the vessels. Or also, we also check the nerve fiber layers, the retina, using this. Anyway, sa glaucoma lecture nyo may encounter yan. Then, this is the blue light. Okay, hindi masyado makita kasi. So, blue light, this is used to look for corneal abrasions or ulcers with the use of fluorescein dye. So, kailangan when we use this, actually, we use this if bedside or hindi, or sa mga children, or bedside for those who cannot sit straight para madala namin sa ma-position namin sa slit lamp. We use the blue light and we apply fluorescein dye to check if there is corneal abrasions, ulcers, or any lesion sa cornea. Okay? Then there is also a slit beam. Saan ba yung slit beam? Yeah, slit beam. Okay? Used to look the contour abnormalities of the corneal lens or the retina, and may read, if yung papansin nyo yung ilaw na may lines, okay, used to approximate the relative distance between the retinal lesions. Okay, so steps in performing your direct ophthalmoscopy. Okay, just read on this, simplify ko na lang. So before doing your direct ophthalmoscopy, always wash your hands, then syempre, don't forget to introduce yourself to the patient, and you have to explain what you're going to do to the patient, okay? Then you position the patient so that the ophthalmoscope is held directly at the level of the patient's eye. Kailangan eye level kayo ng patient. Then, turn on the ophthalmoscope and choose the correct aperture of light. So, yan, if you put mydriatic agent, so you use the largest aperture, okay? Pero kung nasa dark room lang kayo, use the middle aperture. Middle, yan, yung middle lang, okay? So, dim the lights, then instruct the patient to instruct the patient to fixate the distant object. So, kailangan niyo as a patient to look straight or dapat malayo. Huwag directly sa ophthalmoscope niyo. Okay? Then, you set the focusing wheel of the ophthalmoscope to 0. So, depende to. If you are emetropic, nakikita niyo sa yan. So, if you are emetropic, you set your ophthalmoscope to 0. Yung nandito is you set it to 0. Pero if you're using your eyeglasses, actually kasi it's very difficult to use your ophthalmoscope when you're wearing your glasses. Diba? So, ang gagawin is you remove your glasses, then set it kung ano yung grado ninyo. So, for example, ang grado nyo 300. So, you check if you're nearsighted, then go to the red number. So, kung 300, put it to -3 or 3. Yan, set niyo muna kung ano yung error of refraction ninyo. Then, after that, yan. Pag na-set niyo na yung ophthalmoscope, then instruct the patient to look at the distant object. Yan. Then, pwede niyo nang silipin yung tawag dito, yung retina ng patient. Retina tuloy. Basta you can check the fundus already. Okay, so after that, next slide. Yeah. Yeah. So you have to slowly come close to the patient at an angle of about 15 degrees temporal to the patient's line of sight. Okay. So don't forget, if you're examining the right eye, you hold your ophthalmoscope on your right hand and use also your right eye. So right, left. Yeah. So you can hold the head of the patient, or pwedeng your eyebrows, you can hold the eyebrows of the patient, or you can hold the shoulders ng patient para ma-maintain yung balance ninyo. Okay? Then, hold the ophthalmoscope about 6 inches from the eye. and 15 degrees to the right of the patient. So, naka-angle kayo. Then, first thing to do is check for the red-orange reflex. Okay, di ba? Pag sumilip kayo, makikita nyo may ROR. So, pag nakita nyo na yung ROR, slowly move closer to the patient, panisal. Okay. Yan. So, nasally. While doing that, unti-unti nyo i-move yung lens, diopter, yung lenses until maging clear yung view ninyo. Okay? Yan. Turn the focusing wheel of the ophthalmoscope to bring the patient's retina to focus. Okay? So, important yan. Tandaan nyo is to correct muna kung ano yung error of refraction ninyo bago nyo tignan yung fundus ng patient. Kasi, pag hindi nyo kinorek yung sarili ninyo, blurred pa rin yung makikita ninyo. So, ang technique dyan, para hindi kayo mahirapan is, sa akin, for me, ang grado ko is 500, so I'll be setting the focusing wheel ng ophthalmoscope to -5 or nasa red lens na 5. Then, unti-unti kong sisilipin yung fundus ng patient. Pero while doing that, i-adjust ko yung wheel to a more positive or to a more negative. Depende dun sa grado ng patient ninyo. Okay? Naintindihan niyo ba? We're able to appreciate the optic disc when you're in your physical diagnosis. Nakita niyo na ba yun? Di pa. Di niya. Vessels, nakita niyo? Wala din. Wala. Sayang. Anyway, so pwede niyo practicein sa family or sa mga kapatid niyo or parents niyo. Try it kung meron kayong ophthalmoscope sa bahay. Then, if you're, when you have appreciate the retinal vessels, move more onto the nasal side, follow it papunta sa nasal side kasi yung sa dulo nun is the optic disc. Yan. Your optic disc which lies nasal to the center of the retina. So again, for those that are farsighted, green lenses ang gagamitin. Nearsighted, red lenses. Okay? Yan. So, systemically examine the optic disc, retinal vessels, retinal background, and lastly, the macula. Then, repeat the steps on the patient's other eye. So, always start na lang sa right, then left eye yung susunod. Okay, naintindihan? Basta, if, ano ko lang dyan, if you're using your eyeglasses when you use your ophthalmoscope, set nyo na lang sa 0 kasi you're wearing eyeglasses, you're correcting your error of refraction. But if you will remove your glasses, okay, iset nyo yung ophthalmoscope nyo to kung ano yung grado ninyo. Then, yun na, madali na lang. Makita nyo na ng madali yung optic nerve. Okay? Next, actually malapit na tayo matapos. So, another is your indirect ophthalmoscope. So, this is one way to view your retina. So this will give you a wide field of your retina, and also stereoscopic because you're using your two eyes, so you have depth perception when you use your indirect ophthalmoscope. It allows you for a dynamic observation of the retina by moving the instrument. You also have the lens, okay, and some examiners uses scleral depression, okay, are applying scleral depression. So the process is called indirect because you are viewing the fundus or the retina through a handheld condensing lens. Okay, as you can see here, it consists of a headband, a binocular lens with mirrors, and also a light source. Then the examiner will wear the device by positioning the headband around the head so that the binocular lenses is in front of the examiner's eye. Okay. So indications of when we use the indirect ophthalmoscopy. So yeah, to check if there are any opacities, high refractive errors, usually in children. Total fundus examination, examination of large lesions. Advantages, it gives you a wide field, however, has low magnification, maliit lang. strong illumination, then also you have stereopsis or you have depth perception. Mahirap ang disadvantage is gives you an inverted image. So lahat ng nakikita nyo with the indirect ophthalmoscopy is baliktad. So lahat ng nasa right, yung pala sa left. Lahat ng nakita nyo sa right, nasa left yun. Basta it's difficult to learn. Pero sa part nyo naman, just the direct ophthalmoscope. Sa resident level na tong indirect ophthalmoscopy. Nice to know. Okay, please study the differences of your direct and indirect ophthalmoscope. Okay. Okay, so these are the 5 structures that should be observed in a systemic fundus examination. So first is the optic media. So yun yung ROR na sinasabi natin. So if the media is clear, then you will be appreciating a red-orange reflex. But if the media is hazy or may cataract yung patient, then you will not appreciate the ROR. Pwedeng dull yung ROR or no ROR at all. The next is to check for the optic disc. So you will check for the color of the disc. It should be yellow-orange disc, di ba? The borders of your optic disc should be distinct. So if nakita nyo, kung may problem yung optic disc, if there is swelling sa optic disc, the borders are blurred or hindi nyo nakikita na yung borders. Yeah. So next is the retinal vasculature. So dyan papasok yung mga AV ratio, di ba? Yeah. Retinal background, check for the presence or absence of exudates, hemorrhages, and lastly, the macular area. How will you check the macular area? So when you use your direct ophthalmoscope, ask the patient to look directly onto your light source. So you will evaluate the macula last. Kasi pag yan yung nauna is nasisilaw na talaga yung patient. Mahirapan na kayo. Okay? Yan. So, di ba? Background, I mean the optic media. So, obviously, the optic media is clear. So, you can appreciate an ROR. Then, check for the optic disc. So, this is a yellow optic disc with distinct borders. CD ratio, don't forget. It's around 0.3 to 0.4, estimate. So, the vessels are distributed normally. No, dito. AV ratio is 2:3. Yan. So, for there's no exudates, hemorrhages noted. Yan. Diba? Pag nakita nyo, wala naman. Then, last, macular area. Yan. Wala rin exudates, hemorrhages. So, normal look naman yung macula natin dito. By the way, is this the right eye or the left eye? Any guess? Yeah. This is the left. Yan, correct. This is the left eye. Okay. Last is the biomicroscopy. Actually, ang biomicroscopy is the third method for fundus examination. So, we use a slit lamp and a condensing lens. Usually, mga 55 diopters or merong 90 diopters na condensing lens. Okay, halos pareho siya ng indirect ophthalmoscopy. Okay, so pang resident level naman na ito. Gusto mo. Yan pala, this is my last slide na pala. So any questions?